Welcome back to another episode of Record of My Father. Today we're going to be talking about spring. What do we think about spring other than allergies and sneezing? Like the last episode, right?
You what?
The sneezing, the amount of sneezing. Well, I think I opened the last episode with 8 sneezes, maybe nine,
Yeah.
but who's
So this
counting?
time you're going to open with oh, achoo.
15,
So
15
what do
maybe.
you say? What do you say when a person is non-religious and they sneeze? Do you say bless you, or do you say gesundheit, or do
I'm
you
still figuring
say
that one out.
frogs can't fly?
I'm still figuring that one out.
I like frogs can't fly.
Frogs can't fly. That's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, something
We're going to
like
work
that.
that in. Is that going to be a
Yeah,
part of the merchandise line that we're going to put out?
yeah. We're gonna have frogs that have wings, and we're gonna say yes, they can.
I like that idea.
We'll do Bob the Builder on them.
You ever see those fish that can fly for what I think it's like a half a mile or
The
something
flying
that
fish.
come out of the water and they have the
Yeah, they're
wings?
called flying fish.
Or is that what they're called? I don't know.
Yeah, I believe they are.
But
Yeah.
it's like a small swordfish. That's what it
Yeah.
looks like. Or like a marlin or something. Is a marlin and a swordfish the same thing?
Yeah, that's what I believe. Yeah.
They are the same thing?
I'm going to stick with that and
They
say
look
yes.
like the same thing that I've ever seen. I don't know.
Yeah, they're kind of the same. There's probably various classes of that particular species that, some have long swords, some have short, some have long fin,
Mm,
some have short. Because I remember seeing, and I don't remember the hell I saw this, but I saw on somebody's wall, there was a one marlin fisherman and they had like six or eight of them, and they had a giant one in the middle, and they had little ones, and they said that's a da 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 da, and like I don't remember what the hell they called it,
diameter of
but
the
they
thing as well, yeah.
well they were big, they were giant. I mean, the smallest one was like 4 feet, but they were big, they were real big,
They get up
but
to like 300 pounds or something, yeah.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they get
like
up.
they're like uh they're like fat relatives, it just come out of the woodwork.
Exactly.
Say something inappropriate, you can count on me,
But they're
right?
getting overfished like every other thing in the world, right? Because
Yeah,
it's like, what is it?
yeah,
90% of the world's largest fish are gone now. The world's big fish.
I saw I
I don't know
saw a
if I
meme that
believe
said
that.
at the turn of the 19th century, you saw all these people out there and they were just there was fish all underneath the boats and everybody was with nets and grabbing everything they possibly could. And then all of a sudden, then it shows 2022 or three or whatever it was, and then it shows everybody just has hooks trying to catch the last couple of fish,
Yeah.
and it was sort of like but the way the environment is today, which
Well, I
is
think off the coast of Newfoundland in that area, like that is people don't live there anymore. And that was one of the largest
mhm.
fishing communities of all time.
Well, at Iceland in particular, when our last visit, we went to the sardine factory, herrings. Sorry, not sardine, herring, and they literally would bring millions and millions and millions and millions of them in. Just they set up three or four different herring factories within, and they're huge. They're huge fishing communities in the 40s and 50s. And they built Iceland, the whole economy was built off of that because they had evidently chum salmon and all that kind of stuff was something that you could sell, and it was a really good for this, that, and the I don't know what the heck, soap and dogs and whatever the hell it was, but it was a huge export for Iceland, and then it's gone. Overfished. They just they took everything.
It's
You
like the
know.
slurry that is imitation crab meat. Because what is that? That's like
Yeah.
haddock mixed with like three
Yeah.
other kinds of fish.
Yeah. It could be. Yeah.
Certainly tastes like imitation crab. I'm amazed that they can get the crab taste. I don't know. But there's something
Yeah.
about that. Texture though, texture's a little lacking. Oh, just a little
Yeah.
bit
It's kind of
lacking.
mushy. So
Yeah,
it's not the same. It doesn't have the same. And that's the same thing that you look when you're trying to get a burger and you eat that Beyond Meat and you can't. And I don't think it tastes the same, but that's just.
certainly not. But at the
Okay.
same time, I don't mind it. I don't mind it that much. Sometimes I almost prefer it, which is funny.
Really?
I don't know if it's any better for you though. I
What do
don't
you
think
think?
so. I think it's just the alternative.
Well, let's put you out in the field with the dogs and eat the grass.
Yeah. It's funny they use like what is it, beetroot to simulate the it's not like blood, it's like glycogen or something. You know when you get a steak and it's red
Yeah.
and it has like the red leaking out of it, the liquid.
Yeah.
They use that beetroot for that on
Oh, wow. I
the
didn't know
Beyond
that.
Meat. Yeah, isn't that interesting?
That is.
Uh,
But we were going to talk about spring, and I think that it really it came at me hard this year.
Hmm.
because I don't know why. I just look around and I look out the window and I see flowers at every place. I mean, the yard's covered with flowers, and I go out in the woods and I hike at Scotts Run Park, and all the purple and blues are coming up all along the Potomac. There's little white flowers, little pink flowers, little yellow flower. If you look closely at the ground, you see just tons. And the guy that mows our lawn, I have him cut it higher so it doesn't cut off any of the flowers. So I have a yellow field in the back, yellow and purple and pink, and it just wow. It just to me, I don't know what color does. It just sort of the first sounds or the first thing, and the birds are going freaking crazy, you know. So it makes me more alive, more apt to get up early in the morning, more to want to see the sunrise, more want to be outside and not sitting on the couch or doing a silly podcast, that kind of stuff. And but then I get pulled in, and then I get out, and then they pull me back in. Yes, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think you're noticing it more this year than any other year?
Uh, Sobriety, maybe. I don't
No,
know.
that'll do it. That'll do it. That's
I
for sure.
mean, because usually you just want to sleep till 2, but now it's like now that I think I'm officially retired. You think I'm retired? Yeah,
I
I think I'm
don't know.
retired.
We can keep guessing until you're dead. What
Yeah.
about that?
Oh, let's do
That's
that.
kind of
Well,
more fun.
let's hope that it's a long time and not later this
Not
week.
tomorrow.
Well, I want to just live past the 5th, you know.
The 5th of this year.
No, May, because I want to go to the Derby, and I'm really excited about that. And I
Hmm.
don't know why, but more so
Weird.
than ever before. I mean, we've got costumes and all this other kind of stuff to go, and wear hats, and this is just going to be great.
Wait,
Now,
we already talked about this, but was it once or twice before? It was once, right?
I've only been once before, yeah,
Once before. Okay, okay. Gotcha.
yeah. And then I hear that people go there every year, and I'm like, really? This could be something. Who knows? We'll see.
I just hope they kill at least 12 horses this year. I
Yeah.
really only want to
Oh,
go
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. If they
if
whack a
they
bunch of
kill.
horses,
It's got to be
then
more than 8, which was last year's record.
yeah, we're gonna
So
go to
it's
the
got to
record
be
for
at
the
least 12.
yes. Winnie Winnie Nay Nay.
Next year after that, it's got to be at least 20. If they're not killing at least 20 horses a year, then I'm not going to show up.
I wonder how much of that goes. I mean, what the insurance pay is out on that is.
Well, that's why they do it, I'm pretty sure. Because it's
Because once a
cheaper
horse is,
than,
yeah.
yeah.
They can stud. I think after that,
What does
you
that mean?
know, I mean that means they can mate them with other horses, and evidently, if you have a winner, a super winner, people will pay millions of dollars to have sex with your horse. Not people, but people have their horse mate with you because then the mare that is born, or the whatever the hell they are, the female. That's
Good
just
one.
made
That
up.
was good. I like that one.
The
That was good.
female can have more, and what you do is they take the bloodline, and that is to believed to be like makes a better and faster horse if it's from this horse or from that horse or whatever the case may be. Evidently horses are, it's cool to be incestuous there,
Yeah,
provided that your bloodline is from King Charles or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, there is a King Charles now, right?
I think so.
King
Something
Charles.
like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So what about out there? How's the flowers? Are flowers everywhere, or is
It's
that
like
just me?
any other day. It's like any other day throughout the
Really?
year. It's a little
Oh my.
hotter. It's like
Yeah.
80 degrees now, 75, 80
Wow.
degrees.
We
But it's
got
like any other day. There's
we
no
are
seasons.
having we have April showers, just like it's raining. It's overcast right now, but the colors in the backyard are just crazy. And the azaleas, I have a lot of azaleas in the yard. There's probably 100, 200 maybe. And I got patches of them that are anywhere from 50, 60 meters by 30 meters that are just huge areas. You know this. You lived here.
I did.
Uh, and they're like 8 and 9 feet high, and they're just covered with blossoms this year. They peak last week in April, first week in May, but as they come on, you see them start to. And there's like, and it's weird because I have them that they peak early. Like I have one in the back that's this beautiful, brilliant pink, and the blossoms come out, and it's like the first pink that I see, and it's just, I don't know, when for some reason when I see that life come out, you know, that it just gives me mm, that weird, whatever that it's like eating an ice cream cone made out of Snickers bars or something. I don't know, something like that. that just gives you the
Goosebumps.
crazy. Yeah, it gives you the goosebumps, and then like the run, that makes you just feel like your shoulders go up your back and just the whole good. It
Sensation
makes
that
you
goes
feel
up the
better
back of your
about life in
spine. Yeah.
general.
See what you're
Yeah, just
talking
something
about.
about yeah. I mean, if you don't have bad times, you don't have good times, and that's the beauty after winter. And then you see all the trees, and slowly you can see we can see the neighbor's house all winter long, and then all of a sudden it just sort of the leaves just start popping out and popping out and popping out, and then you can't see the neighbor's house. It's cool to go out every day and see, wow, I can see less of it. Wow, I see
Can you
less
see
of it.
the
Wow.
floodlights still from the back of your yard, even in the summer,
Oh yeah, yeah,
spring?
yeah. We had our lights out for a while. We cut those on. That was another thing. Like we just cut those on when the spring came out, and I found Mr. Who is it? Felix, or no, I guess it would be pterodactyl possum guy was in the backyard the other day. The dogs ran out the back door, ran down there, chased him. He ran under the fence. He was on the other side. I shined the light at me, making this wild possum noise, and I was like, "I'm just kidding, man." And the dogs were just going nuts, and I had to grab them and drag them back. But they, you know, roll, 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 get out of my yard, roll, 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 get out of my yard. And the possum was glad to get out of the yard, but he's on the other side. He's trying to dig a hole next to a tree, which I think he's there now. And that, of course, made me want to say, I should probably have some possum houses here.
I would rather do the groundhog house. You know what you could do? You could build those little hobbit homes for them with the little
Yeah,
door. Because I remember seeing that guy
yeah,
running across the lawn years ago.
a little fat guy.
And I wanted to put him in a cage for some reason. There's something about being a human and seeing something cute, and we're gonna say, oh, that belongs in a cage in my house.
Yeah.
What is that?
Why is that?
I don't know what
That's
that is.
another positive sign of spring. Let's catch the animals.
Let's catch him.
Let's catch them and let's
I
hold them
saw that
down.
guy though. He looked great though.
Yeah. Well, the
Yeah,
fat
I haven't
guy,
seen one in years. It's
there's a
been
guy that
years.
lives in the back, and he lives right by the rear sewage cap down by Scott's Run, and then which is about 75 yards from the house, and there's one in the front that lives where the water comes from all the gutters is put together, and there's an output uh, into a little pool, a cistern, whatever, that captures the water, and then it slowly rolls into the creek. The guy lives there, and so if he's out during the day, if it's a warmer day, he will be out, and then they will see him, and they will run after him, and he's like, it is the funniest thing in the world to see the fat dude run. I mean,
How
when
do
the
you know
fat
where he
dude runs,
resides?
I've seen him go in there and then disappear. So I'm guessing that he lives there. You know,
You don't go in there and
but
drink tea with him or something?
no, no, no. I mean, I have
No,
like
no tea
like
drinking with the.
like across the creek, where we sit in the front on I got water on God three sides of the house. On in the front, the fox. There's a big, huge, I guess poplar, probably 3.5 feet diameter. And underneath that, the roots are all around the edge of the bank of the creek, and it's about 9 feet deep, 10 feet deep to where the water is. And right there, in there, all the roots are exposed, and the fox live in there. Because I saw one come out, snatch a what I think was a chipmunk. I'm not really sure because I heard that. I know that it was kind of horrible. But I was sitting at the chair there and I was smoking a cigar, and this guy, and then I see all this rustling, and I hear the squeaking, and then then I see him pop it up in the air and catch it in his mouth, and that was it.
No, geez.
And then he runs back down and runs underneath. And then I set up another bird feeder in the front, and evidently, see, the one in the back is away from all the brush and everything. So nothing can get close to the birds to kill them. Occasionally you see a big puff of dow. No, not dow. Dove feathers just out like that, and that's when I have a red-tailed hawk that comes in and kills them. Well, in the front, we now have I guess you would call him Sammy, or no, Felix. Felix the fox comes down, runs around. He runs around the corner. What the birds do is they're underneath the bird feeder and on the bird feeder. The ones that are underneath the bird feeder fly up to the limbs, right into the close by bush to hide. and he comes around the corner and he doesn't go to the bird feeder. He jumps into the bush. He knocks them off the limb. He catches them, and then he runs away. I mean, it's
Hmm.
just it's like, wow. And he's not very particular. He'll eat a nuthatch just as quickly as he'll eat chickadee dee dee or a what are the gold ones? Goldfinches. I haven't seen. He's
The
never
yellow
hits a
and black is what we're
cardinal.
talking about.
Yeah, never hits a cardinal or a blue jay because they're usually up in the feeder and they don't fly right there. They fly away because they're yeah, I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. No one seems to hit the crows. Crows are they are the most cowardly. You open the door and they run away. All the other birds go like, "Oh, it's just him." And then Mr. Fox says, "Yeah, it's just him." So they know what I'm going to do, and then they come out and they eat the little birdie birds. And
That is funny. I have never seen something attack a crow. Maybe it's because it's bigger too. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
It
I mean,
might
I
be
used
because
to
of it.
remember I used to scare them away with a BB gun, and I would shoot it to the little container there. There's a
Yeah, I
squirrel
do.
baffler made out of metal, and they would run up and they would try to, and they couldn't get it. Well, with a every so often the crows, I mean, like murder of crows would get together and say, "Whoa, we're going to eat all of Phil's suet." So they come down in groups and just start hitting the suet, and then I would scare them away, thinking for some reason that crows don't deserve to eat, and and pretty birds do. So see, this is society's the same way. The people don't get anything, and the pretty people get everything. So you let the birds eat all they want, but the ugly crows don't get crap. But anyway, the point was is that they land on the feeder. I was sitting there and I was shooting and crooked my elbow like that, and I pull the trigger. Oh my god! Last time I shot a BB gun, and that was 8, 9 years ago, maybe 10.
That was 8 years ago.
Right? I think
I thought it
so.
was like
I mean, did you
five.
see him? Well, you were.
I
I
thought it was
think you
like
were like
five.
15, so
I thought I was like 20. I don't know.
you're like 12.
20.
Oh, you could have been 20. I
I
don't know. I
thought I was
mean,
20.
time to me is sort of like yeah,
I have no
whatever.
recollection of time either. I don't know
But
what that is.
I plugged him, and it was so weird because the bird was sitting there chipping, and then he just like fell.
Right to
Just
the heart. Yeah.
did no wings, no out, no yeah, no nothing. Dead. Fell to the ground. I was like, "Is he faking?" And I'm like, hell of a fake.
That's a good
Went out
fake.
there, wasn't moving. Then I flipped them over and I saw the hole right through the, and I was like, damn, amazing shot, but I wasn't aiming for that. Anyway, I buried him and then I didn't do that anymore.
Do you think he was
Yeah.
faking when you buried him?
No, he was dead. I
You,
could have left him there and, you know,
you didn't check for a pulse or anything?
because in the springtime, you see animals that get killed, and they get killed in our yards. In the yard here, and I'm in a community where there's everybody has a little bit of property, so there's space between them, and there's a lot of animals that are being encroached on, and all the other neighborhoods come here. So uh, we had a deer, big uh, buck, probably 8 point, died in my front yard. I saw it about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was dead, and it looked like it was hit by a car or something, and it was all a little bit messed up and not much. And it's in the afternoon. I'm like, oh my god, I got to deal with this 120-pound thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna deal with it tomorrow because it was just getting dark. I go in, go to bed, wake up the next day, come out. It's not in the yard anymore. There's a drag mark across the yard, all the way over to the pine tree, which is 30, 40 meters away. Nearly half a football field because we don't use distances
No, we
in the
don't.
Brown house. Yeah. And was stuck into the bushes there. And I went over there, head was gone. And he was worked on a lot. And I was thinking, like, what in the heck carried something that weighs as much as probably you over, drug it over through the azaleas into the other side by the underneath the pine tree. And then later that day, you started seeing vultures. All the vultures started landing, and the tree was full of vultures, just like 30 or 40, and they'd come down, and inside of 4 days, there was only a few bones left. All the bones were gone. Everything was gone. I don't know where the bones went. I didn't look for them, but there was just like the only thing left was a rib cage that was still there. The head was gone. The legs were gone. All the meat was gone. There was no more thing. Zero. There was a little bit of fur. Fur was kind of everywhere, but it was just like, I mean, they totally got rid of it completely.
Didn't
You
even have
know,
to lift a finger.
Yeah. And so I was saying to myself, like, if something dies in the yard, like somebody I know, I'm just going to leave them there and they'll be gone in 3 or 4 days. I
Exactly.
mean, people go for all this. You got to put them in a vat of acid and liquidate them, if you're a serial killer. I can give you pointers on that if later in life, you decide you want to kill people or whatever. But I mean, just leave them in the front yard, man. They'll be gone. Of course, the smell really wasn't that bad. I'm surprised.
And
I
that's
mean, I
what
went over
spring
there.
means for you.
Yeah.
That's
Dead
what spring is.
animals in
Dead
the
animals in the yard.
in the yard. That's it. I've talked about a couple of those, but no, I think it's sort of like rejuvenation of life. It gives you, for some reason, I know it's kind of a horrible time to say this with all the stuff going over in Gaza and Ukraine and Nigeria and Sudan and Venezuela. The list is endless of the horrors that are going on in the world around us. But it's like here, it's other than if you can separate the political bullshit from it, that it's just beautiful. And wow, if you stay off social media to some degree, you don't seem to eat all of the negative stuff, which is
I think you're more
being
talking
on
about the natural world, yeah, not
yeah, the natural
necessarily
world. And it's like
the unnatural.
it's sort of like life starts over again. You get
We live
another
so
chance.
adjacent, though. Humans live so adjacent to it. We believe that it's something different and not intertwined with our own lives,
Yeah.
which I think is interesting.
Yeah, it is
As
funny
well
that
as
we can move it away and say, yeah, the fish are just doing it on their own. It's like, well, without them, you wouldn't be here. Without the
we,
trees, you wouldn't,
we don't
all
even
this.
see ourselves a part of it at all,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is kind of sad in a way
Hmm.
that we live so adjacent and so
Well, I think that it really
close to
depends
it.
upon your belief system, right? I mean, whether or not you
I would say the majority of people I've met don't believe that we're a part of the natural world, or at least
yeah,
don't feel that way.
yeah, we were sort of planted in here. We are cousins to the cockroaches or something like that, because
But
we're
even then,
here
you'd be
to.
affiliated with the
Yeah, you're right. You're
natural.
right. So
Yeah,
so true. We're the aliens. We're in charge. That's it. There, everything here is for our
we're in charge, is
right.
something that everybody believes.
Yeah.
You can't say somebody in New York believes that they're a part of this system.
Yeah. No, no.
Somebody
Well, it's
that
also like what
lives
you
in an urban
feel. I mean,
area,
I'd imagine that farmers probably feel it more
way
because they're
more.
seeing it and when you put seeds in the ground on a completely like fresh thing, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks later you got corn stalks popping up or whatever the hell you plant, that rejuvenation of life is just like, for me, it's a thing. It makes me more alive. It makes me more jumpy. It makes me my days are longer because I want to be alive to see it. And I also happen to be what do you call it? A connoisseur of color,
I like
bright
that.
color.
A CC,
Well, yeah, well, I don't like I mean,
COC.
I think ivy and pachysandra and all that crap that's green that covers the ground is pretty and everything, but I have green counter that blooms a white little flower. I don't know what the hell it's called. And then I have witch hunt or witch tail, which is in the front. That's the one that all has the big white flowery things that are in bushes, and they come up and they smell like ouzo, which, I mean, it's licorice, but I say ouzo because, or what is the other one? Sambuca. You
Sambuca.
go out there and it's like, oh God, I remember the last time I got hammered on Sambuca.
I don't. I never have, and I never will. Oh, it's
But you
so
shouldn't.
gross.
You shouldn't. It's a story.
I don't even
Yeah.
like the taste of a knee at all. Black licorice to
Yeah.
me is just
Now, I don't like eating
foul.
knees. I'm okay with the ankles, but knees are there's no
These are
meat
not.
on them.
No,
None. None at all.
no
Yeah.
knuckle bone. You ever
But
do
you get
chicken feet? You ever do a chicken foot?
no, but I do
Not my favorite.
hamster. No, no, guinea pig. Felipe, you have to eat the guinea pig. And got on its back, splayed open like this. when you eat something with his mouth open and the teeth are looking back at you, you're like,
Yeah. Did you do the
that's
goat
what the
head?
crunching
You,
sounds like.
you did the goat head soup too, right?
We did the goat head. We did not even do the soap. We had the head of the goat.
No soup? You had to do
No
it in a
soup. It was
soup
just
so
a
you can't
head
see
sitting.
it.
No, no, no. You got to eat the head. And it's cooked in the ground we're in Morocco. In Morocco. What the hell was it? What the hell's the city? Um,
Marrakesh.
yeah, Marrakesh. That's where we went. We sat and they cooked it under the ground, pull it out. They put the head on a plate, and Jem and I ate the head. And I mean, it's got so much cumin on it that it was like,
Any eyeball?
no, no, I didn't do that.
No
They
eyeball.
offered some of the weird stuff, and I was just like, no, no. And Jem was, I don't think he didn't eat the eyeball either, but we ate that, and there's a lot of people eating head there, so
Well, that's
it
a
was a
big
thing to
thing.
do.
The
It was a
the
thing to
head
do.
and the soup is the biggest thing, I thought.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
would
realize it
imagine
was
soup would have
just
been much better than the
yeah.
head because the head was nothing but
At least in a
uh,
broth of some sort, right?
it was dark meat. That's all it was.
I
It was a
like
bunch
dark
of
meat
dark
though.
meat, and I love dark meat. So
I think everybody does,
yeah.
unless you're
Well, a lot of people
super
like
health conscious.
when they eat chicken, they want to eat the breast and all that. And
No,
see,
ew.
I want to eat the wings, the legs, the pieces,
I want to be happy. I don't want to be. I don't want to be health conscious.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
true.
don't
That's a good point.
understand that. I don't get the white meat over the dark meat thing.
Hmm.
I don't even think calorically it's that big of a difference either. I can't imagine that it's night and day in caloric value. It does.
I wonder if there's like more vitamins or there's more poop in the brown meat than there is in the clear meat or something. I have no idea. Well, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you eat catfish. It's a bottom feeder. It lives off of poop, and you're eating reconstituted poop meat. So
Well, that's like a
carp.
pig as well.
But
Pig is
well,
the same thing.
yeah, but pigs eat like all sorts of stuff that makes them happy. It makes. I mean, I love eating an animal that's happy. I don't want to eat a sad animal. That's just no fun.
But veal tastes great. That's a really sad animal.
I just can't.
So
You
it's
know.
really good. I
Yeah.
haven't eaten in years though. But it's
Yeah.
also like my decision making is not going to impact that world at all. I don't see
Yeah.
the reason
Yeah.
how one man, well, it's like the same thing with recycling and how 85% of the stuff you recycle goes in the dump anyway. So I don't really,
Well, true, but you also have to say to yourself, the other side of that is that one man can change the world if he continues with his voice to have other people follow what he doesn't say.
if a few do it,
So
you're right. If a few do it as opposed to
yeah,
none, there's a difference there.
right. And you come to a group, and it's the same thing. Like, I mean, technically, you would say this is the same thing in voting in the election. My vote won't count. It's only one. Well, yeah, but if you permeate that attitude to all of your immediate surrounding, and then they permeate it to their surrounding, and then you've got thousands of people that are like, screw it, my vote doesn't count. I'm not going to vote. So it's like, then absolutely, it's not going to work.
I
You
think the
know what I mean?
recycling thing, though, is more that I want the government to hold Big Coal accountable for the lack of reports on coal scrubbers and coal plants that are way more
Right.
responsible for greenhouse emissions than I am. And why
Yeah.
am I being held accountable as a single person more so than an entire industry? And
Let me
that's a
let me
little
fly my private
frustrating.
jet over to your house and tell you why you're bad.
Exactly. Yeah, it's well,
Yeah.
I also think that when I was growing up, the food pyramid was a big thing, and the food pyramid was endorsed by Big Ag to make it look as if grain and milk was the most important thing that you should eat always. And that's when I was growing up as well. When I got into high school, they told us that recycling was one of the most important things, which was probably also propagated by Big Coal. So we
Right.
see like this continuation in education that these these systems just continue to endorse education that's telling you that they're not the wrong guys, that they're not the bad
Right.
guys.
Well, they're paying the politicians who are making the laws that are then enacted by the FDA, the what is it that's expects from meat, USDA, all of those. Now, remember that there are truly uh, uh, shitty laws and bad things like that happen, but there is good that comes out of that. There's lots of good that comes out of that. So you basically have to, I would hope, eat the teaspoon or tablespoon of poop so that you can get the pint of ice cream. And I
In
mean, I
regards
think
to
that,
what though? And what do you?
well, when you look at society as a whole, I mean, it's like when people look at the government, oh, the government sucks, I hate them, and the reason they hate them is because of one little aspect or one little
Oh,
thing.
okay, yeah.
Whereas,
No, I see what you're
you
talking
know,
about.
we all have health, to some degree. Uh, the poor people are somewhat taken care of, not in a great way, but in some ways, we do look towards them. The society as a whole, we make roads across the country. We don't, our roads line up with the roads in all the opposing states, or all the, not opposing, but adjacent states. So, I mean, those are the things that you don't think about that the government does to make sure that we all have power. We usually don't have, I mean, in Virginia we don't have rolling power outages. I know they do in Texas now because they've privatized it.
Oh,
Because
wow. They
guess what?
have.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
one of the
realize
reasons that they're
that.
having so many problems, is because what you do when you privatize is you cut down the number of plants that you have, because then you can make more money. And you don't, the public system is, we have to build a factory, a power plant, that at the worst possible time it will work. Whereas in a private sector, you don't care about that. You want to minimize the size and scope of the power that you offer, and you will tell the people that, no, don't use it when it's 85 degrees outside. Cut it down. And you're like, well, that's not what the public side would do. That's what
Yeah.
somebody that's trying to make money would do. They would try to maximize their profits by not having as many plants, by not having as much power, because you got to you got to prepare for the spikes. You know,
If they
you
ever
got to.
privatize the library, I'm gonna lose my mind. If
Well,
they
they've
ever
always,
do.
now they're, the oversight and banning the books and all that kind of stuff, like that is just disgusting. You
Yeah.
know, that to me is, that's just a
That's
disgusting thing to
specifically in
take things off
Florida,
the
if I
shelf.
remember correctly.
No, no, no. There are like
No.
28
Alabama.
states. 28
28? It's that
states.
high now.
Yeah,
I need to
yeah.
get caught up on
There's
my news.
Mothers Against Intelligence, I think it is out there trying to.
Well,
I
that
don't think
was the
that's
whole
her.
thing with Mothers Against Drunk Driving when that
Yeah,
first started coming along. And you looked at
yeah.
people that died in drunk driving accidents, ages, what was it, 16 to 21. And then what happened was when they pushed it to 21 to buy alcohol, the deaths just went from 21 to 25.
Right.
It's
So
not
what they
funny.
did is they moved the skew. They moved it from here to here.
Yeah, they did
So
nothing. They did
yeah.
nothing in
Well, no,
reality.
they just moved them because then people weren't more. They didn't get used to it, and I think that abstinence and punishment has never worked in our society for anything.
Oh, no.
It just
Look
doesn't.
at
When
Prohibition.
people say you can't have sex before marriage, or you can't have sex before you're 20, or you can't have, or you're not allowed to drink alcohol. I mean, I was drinking alcohol when I was 6. So I don't, and we were not allowed to. We were not allowed to smoke either. I remember the first time I smoked was like I vomited. It was just ugly. But, here, take a hit. And I was like 8, and I just, because I didn't. You look at me inhaled. You shouldn't inhale. And I'm like I know how to smoke a Winston when I'm 8 years old. I mean, that was in front of all places, the boys' club. I remember that. That was a memorable
Okay,
thing.
know how to smoke a Winston. That's another that's going to be a quote on a t-shirt.
Yep,
It's going to be
you know how to smoke a Winston.
when I'm 8 years
Oh man, I booted. I booted, and I turned like a different
old.
shade of color. And oh yeah. And it was not just one of those, it was one huge hairy, from the bottom of my guts. I pulled everything out that I had, and I put it on this guy's shoes. And he was upset.
Yeah, I would be as well.
God, I can see his face.
It's kind of
I
his
want to
fault though.
say, damn, because his brother smoked, and his brother was my age too, but he smoked like a lot. And you're thinking like, and he used to brag about his kid. Yeah, look at him. He's 8 years old and he smokes a half pack a day. And I'm like, and that was something to achieve,
It was a
you know?
bragging right. Well, that's like when people always say we have like a war on sleep in this country. We're like, oh, I only got 2 hours of sleep last night. I'm like, you're supposed to be proud of that. You're proud
Yeah,
of that you only
yeah,
got 2 hours.
yeah.
Oh well. Oh wow.
So,
We're almost out of time here.
oh wow. So you work 90 hours a week, so I can take the whole day off. I think
Exactly.
you should work more,
I'll be enjoying my time.
because
Uh,
this bitch be lazy.
as always, thank you guys for listening. It's been a pleasure doing this, and we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going. We're really consistent recently. And it's been good. It's been fun. It's been a great time. We have a Q&A section on Spotify. Always ask questions. And we'll try to give you some answers. And we'll publish your comments no matter how vulgar. We will.
Yeah, yeah, Joe, I got your email and your text, but I couldn't make out the email address to reply to them. So please send it again.
Yeah, one more time if you could just send
Yeah,
that.
Joe Rogan, please.
Just
Yeah,
one more time.
just one
Just
more
one more
time, and
time.
we'll be set. And that's what we're gonna do. And yeah, and we are both willing to come on your show and make it a better show if you need. Okay.
We'll bring along our swath of followers as well.
Yes, yeah, we will at least increase the size. Probably not.
All right, thank you guys.
Love it, man.